This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2019, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall bulletin board for such notices and following same with the Township Clerk, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on January 3rd, 2019. The notice was also published on the Township webpage. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kubel.
Present.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Present.
Councilman Roderick.
My understanding is that Councilman Roderick had a family emergency out of state. I'd move for an excused absence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Hill.
Here.
Council President Whitman.
Here.
First item on the agenda, the approval of the minutes from November 26, 2019.
Move the minutes into the record.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick. Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
For our honoring resolutions and presentations tonight, we have the Women of the American Legion celebrating 100 years, and we have the No Kid Hungry campaign.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. Item A will be presented by the Mayor Kelleher, and item B will be presented by Lori Yurick, our councilwoman.
Good evening, everybody. As we indicated when the clerk made the announcements, tonight we were going to recognize the women of the American Legion. These ladies have been here every year that I've been the mayor, and usually they have a can in their hand and they're trying to take money from us for their poppy sales every year, which is a great a donation, yeah, which is a great, wonderful support program for the Legion. These folks are the backbone of the American Legion. I belong to that post. Whenever there's anything worthwhile going on, these are the folks that are in charge of it. So if you ladies would like to come up and receive this certificate of congratulations, we'd be happy to present it to you. And yeah, all or now, who would like to make a little speech? Tell us. Okay, and none of you look like you're 100 years old either, so, yeah, all right, tomorrow, okay. But we have this certificate, so why don't we hold this here while you take the microphone and say, hey, I gotta do the picture there, man. Oh, yeah, hold it. All right.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm the president of American Legion Auxiliary Unit 129 in Toms River. And this year we are celebrating, as the auxiliary to the American Legion, we are celebrating 100 years of service, not self. And Unit 129 is also celebrating 100 years of service, not self. So we're very honored to be receiving this.
Yeah, this post is named after George Van de Veer, who was a World War I president of Toms River, who was killed in action in World War I in France. And the club was started right after the end of the First World War. 1919, and here we are 100 years later, and it's been thriving ever since. So that's something to be very proud of. So please, yes, ma'am.
And for those of you, it used to be just women as part of the auxiliary, but it is now open spouse. So again, we are the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 129.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, and please take that with our congratulations. Okay. Okay, Lori, you're next. Let me get out of your way here.
Okay, and the next proclamation is for No Kid Hungry, and I'd like to call up Tony, and I'm going to try to say your last name. Saplensky? Yes. All right, and Sharon Colucci. So we're just so proud of you and the work you're doing this year. This is the inaugural year for doing this work in Toms River, but No Kid Hungry has been around for about a decade. And it's amazing that in a country like this, that we actually have kids going hungry. So we can't say thank you enough. And this year they raised $1,375 through bake sales. And you think you sell those cupcakes for 25 cents. It's a lot of work to make $1,375. And for each dollar they raise, that feeds 10 kids. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'll let you, yeah.
And the money goes to the county that you're in, so it actually goes to Ocean County, and that's why we decided to do that. But we're on a mission to feed as many people as we can in Ocean County, so thank you very much. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Okay. There we go.
Go ahead.
Continuing on to item number 7, an ordinance in the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 189, Beach Protection, to revise standards for issuance of permits affecting dune areas. Final reading.
This is a portion of the meeting open for public comment on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand, come to the microphone, and identify yourself.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final?
Second?
Motion made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item number 8 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing various sections of Chapter 325, Golf Course of the Township Code. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first?
Do you have a second?
Second?
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 9 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 383, Parks Municipal, to amend certain fees for the Winding River Park ice skating rink facilities. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next item is the consent agenda. All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
A is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing refund of overpayment of taxes to various properties. B is a resolution of the Township Council certifying entitlement of a 100% disabled veteran status and providing that property taxes be canceled and/or refunded. C is a resolution of the Township Council certifying entitlement of a 100% widow of a disabled veteran status and providing that property taxes be canceled and/or refunded. D is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of a contract to Yezi Associates LLC to assist the engineering division in the design of an addition at police headquarters to house an expanding server room and alterations to the dispatch center in conjunction with the new radio system upgrade in the total contract amount not to exceed $70,500, and authorizing the mayor to execute and the township clerk to attest to an agreement with Yezi Associates LLC. E is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing an amended contract with O'Donnell Stanton Associates, a member of the Van Cleef Engineering Group, increasing the scope of work of Barrier Island drainage improvements to include 4th Avenue in North Beach in the additional amount of $4,500 for a total project amount not to exceed $31,000. The original award was $26,500. And authorizing the mayor to execute and the township clerk to attest to an amended agreement with O'Donnell Stanton Associates, a member of the Van Cleef Engineering Group. F is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing final closeout for the Veterans Park Parking Improvements Project, approval of change order number 1, net reduction in contract in the amount of $51,017.65, acceptance of maintenance bond, release of performance bond, and authorizing final payment and release of retainage to contractor Shore Top Construction Corporation in the amount of $20,678.33. G is a resolution of the Township Council amending budget revenues and appropriations for flood mitigation assistance grant. H is a resolution of the Township Council canceling stale dated outstanding checks. I is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing closeout of the demolition of the Red Carpet Inn project for the Department of Engineering, releasing performance bonds, acceptance of maintenance bonds, and final payment and release retainage to contractor Site Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $70,462.48. J is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing contract for one new or unused Ford F-550 XL 4x4 extended cab with Alltech model AT37G telescopic articulating continually rotational aerial device for the Department of Public Lands to Alltech Industries Incorporated, who as a sole bidder meet all the bid specifications in the total contract amount not to exceed $109,378. K is a resolution of the Township Council amending budget revenues and appropriations for New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2020 municipal aid project elevation of portions of Aldo Drive, Windsor Ave, and Silver Bay Road and Bay Point Drive grant. L is a resolution of the Township Council for matching funds for the flood mitigation assistance grant. M is a resolution of the Township Council consenting to the appointment of William Laird, CTA, to serve as a township tax assessor. N is a resolution of the Township Council accepting reduced performance guarantees for a minor subdivision known as Block 297.06, lots 125 through 129 at Maria Drive and Longman Street. O is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor subdivision plan known as Block 794.44, lot 6.02 at Point Road. P is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major subdivision plan known as 1209 Church Road, LLC, Block 410, Lot 2, 8, and 9 at 1209 Church Road. Q is a resolution of the Township Council amending budget revenues and appropriations for State Body Armor Replacement Program. And R is a resolution of the Township Council designating a conditional redeveloper for Block 668, Lot 9 and 13, as identified on the tax maps of the township and commonly known as 1 Robbins Parkway, and authorizing the execution of an interim cost agreement with respect thereto.
Okay, would anyone on the council like any items removed and discussed separately? Anyone? Okay, anyone from the public like any items removed and discussed separately?
Seeing none, move the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka to move the whole totality of the consent agenda. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
We do not have any reports tonight, so we'll go right on to, oh, excuse me.
Here.
We do have reports. The Bay Leave Golf Course for November of 2019, $48,183.24, as compared to 2018 at $35,701.96. Bailey Golf Course year-to-date through November of 2019 at $1,176,466.87, as compared to 2018 at $1,087,871.85. The Winding River Ice Rink for November of 2019 at $113,097, as compared to 2018 at $112,814. The Winding River Ice Rink year-to-date through November of 2019 at $813,513.62, as compared to 2018 at $776,876.05. Building permits for the month of November 2019, $161,250, as compared to 2018, $191,438. And the building permits the year-to-date through November 2019, $2,373,096, as compared to 2018, $2,232,662.
Move the reports into the record.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilman Kubel,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Now we move on to the bills.
Move the bills.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilman Kubel,
Abstain to PO 19-00967 and 19-02224 payable to Vet Court of Toms River. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Turnbuck,
Abstain from PO 19-06585 payable to magistrates and 19-00455 payable law office of City Holzapfel. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Abstain from PO 19-00619, payable to Borough of Lavalette. PO 19-00248 and 19-06275, payable to Remington and Vernick. And PO 19-06585, only line 18 as it pertains to recreation salaries. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Maruka,
Abstain to PO 19-00456, payable to Terry Brady Esquire, and 19-06585, payable to NJMVC Lease Program, line 94 on the township payroll. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes, with the following extension, 19-02203, payable to Ocean County Board of Health. Yes to the balance.
Council President Whitman.
Yes, with the following exceptions. I have to abstain to purchase order number 19-06258, payable to Area Properties at Clifton LLC. I have a conflict. And purchase orders number 19-06250, 19-06251, and 19-06489 in the amount of $419.02, payable to Area Properties at Raider. Yes to the balance.
Next, we have elected officials' comments.
Okay. Councilman Turnbuck.
Thank you, Council President. I want to thank the students of Toms River, the teachers of Toms River, the administrators of Toms River, the council, the members of the public that went down to Trenton today in order to protest the cuts to school funding. It's no law in our state should have the effect of exposing children. Laws should be designed to protect children. I've reviewed S2. It's a very complicated bill. It's a complicated law. But the reality of this law is that it is exposing the children of Toms River. It's unacceptable to have cuts to extracurricular activities. Most of you know I'm a criminal defense attorney. Those extracurricular activities provide much more than just being a member of a team or part of your education. They're vital to the safety of our youth. So I am urging our state legislatures to go back and look at this system, because the system is broken. We've got to admit when the system is broken. take a look at S2, try to read S2, try to understand S2. The funding formula in our state is not transparent, and we need a transparent funding formula. It's opaque. We need to see that this law is not helping Toms River, merging our state legislatures to come together and restore our funding. That's it.
Thank you. Mayor Kelleher.
I just want to congratulate Craig Ambrosio, our Director of Public Buildings, Parks and Grounds, for the support he lent to the Friday night tree lighting, and for a nice job his folks did with decorating the tree with over 5,000 bulbs out here. And the whole ceremony Friday night, with the cooperation of our people, the bid, and the fire department, made it a happy event for everybody when we had the tree lighting ceremony. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to echo Councilman Turnbuck's comments about the support that the governing body, the school administration, our police department, and everyone that rallied and that has sent letters to Trenton or has, called our legislatures. The schools are the backbone of our community. People move to Toms River because of our school system, and we want to keep our school system as good as it can possibly be. And to have a funding formula that seems so inequitable and just unfair for punishing a school district that has one of the lower per capita student costs in the state, and we're being penalized because they're educating our students and giving them the extracurricular activities at a decent rate, and they're seeing a return on it, but to penalize them and take the money away for saying, nope, you're doing a good job, you need to tighten your belt anymore. And I think the school districts have tightened their belt, and the ones that are going to suffer are our children, and it's just very unfair. And just urge everyone to support our legislatures and to see what they can do to take this S2 and come up with an equitable formula. This system has been broken for as long as I can remember, and we keep on talking about it, and nothing has been done. We urge the legislatures to do the right thing for the children of the communities of Toms River, but also the communities that might be getting penalized just like Toms River is. And that's all I have, Council President.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Not to beat a dead horse, but we can't say it enough. The rally today was a step in the middle of this process. We've been rallying, we've been talking to our legislators and begging them to reconsider the formula. As Councilwoman Maruka said, people moved to town for the schools. I moved here 23 years ago for the schools, and my children went through the school systems, and they were able to compete with private school children to get into schools like Barnard and Boston College and the honors program at Marymount Manhattan because there were extracurricular activities and AP classes that made them well-rounded and attractive applicants to those colleges. And without those programs, you can't compete with private schools. And so your children will not be able to get into those good schools. It impacts their future, not just elementary school and high school, the rest of their lives. And it affects our community, property value, and just the overall what the kids are doing after school, as Councilman Turnbuck said. So we can't say it enough, don't stop. Don't stop contacting them. If it takes contacting the legislators every day, do it every day. But we've got to get them to talk to us and to change the formula. And then on a lighter side, I always have to promote downtown. Exit 82 is gonna have It's a Wonderful Life. We've got to get the arts from somewhere, right? So private industry, downtown Toms River, this weekend on December 13th, they're opening, and then they'll also be performing next weekend. So that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Cabell.
No further comments.
Councilman Hill.
Thank you, Council President. I want to echo what the mayor said with the tree lighting on last Friday. Craig's crew did a great job. I think the tree is well decorated, and everybody had a lot of fun lighting that tree at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday was followed up with the Police Department's annual Jingle Bells Run. It was impressive to see our firefighters out there with their Scott packs at the fun run, so Brian must have had them whipped in shape so they could make the run. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the Trenton protest today. It was quite a caravan on 195, the Parkway and 195. And I agree, this formula makes no sense. Nobody has been transparent with it. I've seen the classroom impacts in Toms River South when I was there over the holidays, and the classroom sizes are increasing with the loss of 77 staff members last year. There's talks about they have to lay off another 100 teachers. They're talking about kindergarten. They're talking about extracurricular activities. I have 4 grandchildren in the system. I have a daughter who's a teacher. There's more than just classrooms that goes into your education. That's rounded out with the extracurricular activities. We have students that are very talented in athletics, in the arts, in drama, in music, in the different science clubs that we have after school. And without that, I think their education is going to suffer. And it's not fair. We have a graduation rate of 92.5%. As Maria and as Terrence said, we're educating the children at half of what it costs in the inner cities, and yet we're losing money. And you can't plan a budget when you've got to plan for the increase in salary costs and in supplies if you're losing money from the state at the other end. It's a double-edged sword, and it's not fairly, we're not fairly compensated for the school system that we have. We're one of the largest districts with 15,500 students, 3 high schools, 3 intermediate schools, and 8 or 12 elementary schools. It's a big district. It serves over 100,000 people with the regional districts to our south. And it's just, I know that everybody says life's not fair, but this is getting to the point of being untenable. And if as Maria said, and as Terrence said, if the school system goes down, property values go down, and that's one of the 3 legs of the stool that'll start to wobble, and this town will suffer. So we need to do everything we can to get the funding adequate and stabilized for this community. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'd also like to piggyback on some of the comments regarding the tree lighting. I thought it was an excellent event. Santa Claus showed up on the fire engine. I think the kids were excited. It was anticipation, watching the kids, standing there and watching the kids wait for Santa to arrive on the fire engine. There was a lot of anticipation. And then the tree lighting, I think it was a great thing when we turned on the lights and you see this beautiful tree with all the lights, and it really, Craig, you did a great job. It really looked nice when we turned it on. It actually worked when we flipped the switch, which is always important. But I think everyone that was there had a good time despite the rain, and the rain held off, and the mayor got to light the tree without the rain hitting him on the head. So it was a great event. In terms of the caravan today, I had the opportunity to go out to Trenton and attend the rally. And one of the things I noticed, first off, is that when the kids got into the courtyard to start to make their case, all of a sudden you see the blinds on the State House buildings close. And so it was like, they were trying to drown out the kids. And I thought that was a disgrace, that you see the blinds are open as the kids start, and then all of a sudden the blinds are closed. And I just thought that was terrible. In terms of this funding formula, one of the things that I always look at, if it's so complicated that you can't explain it, then there's something wrong. And so this formula, that you ask the state for the formula and they can't explain it to you. So if it can't be explained to reasonable people, then you start to wonder, well, there is even a formula, or is a formula exist that you could understand? Because if they're not able to even show it to you or explain it to you, it seems to me it's very arbitrary. Because if you have a formula and you tell us what it is, we should be able to understand it and then take a look and calculate whether or not we're getting cheated or not. And I believe that the formula is hidden and it's opaque on purpose, so that the residents of Toms River and the citizens that are impacted by this supposed formula really can't challenge it, because they don't understand what it stands for in terms of the calculation. What are the factors that go into it? Are they even using the right factors to do that? And I really think that the state as a minimum should give us the formula and explain to us all the factors that go into the calculation on the removal of aid. We're talking about $5 million over 2 years. And if it continues for the next 3 or 4 years, it could be $2.5 million every year for the next 5 years, which is going to be unsustainable. And to have the Senate say that, well, you can just raise taxes. I don't think that's going to be a solution for very long. And what's going to happen is you're going to pit one group against the other, because residents are going to say, wait a minute, I don't have kids in the schools, and I want to support the schools, but I also don't want to pay $1,000 a year more in taxes for schools just because the state is not able to adequately redistribute the income from different towns and take the grants and distribute it equally or more reasonably with the formula that people can understand. And I think that's really my biggest problem with it, is you can't understand how they're even coming up with the answer to the test. And so I would say for an education department that is responsible for educating the students, they should educate the public and help us understand how they come up with their numbers, because arithmetic is arithmetic and it shouldn't be that complicated. So I would urge anyone that, anyone in the audience to contact the state, the legislatures and the governor's office, and as well as the Department of Education, and ask them to release the formula, tell us what it really means in terms of the funding, so we can understand it and then address it from that standpoint, because it's really a travesty what they're going to do to the system if we continue along these lines. So I hope that we can come to a resolution. They can give us more than $800,000, which I think is a pittance compared to what they took away. And it was almost unconscionable they could think that $800,000 is going to be enough when we were cut $5 million. In any case, I'll open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand and come to the microphone. Pat?
Pat Klaslow, Wortley Beach. I know it's always the second and fourth Tuesday for the town council meetings, but I know 2 weeks from tonight is Christmas Eve. Is there another meeting this month or not?
Yes,
Monday the 23rd.
The 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
It's on the website as well. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Lady, I called up the lady, sir.
Mary Ann Wallace, 1 Second Avenue in Ortley Beach. Hi, I want to say thank you to the council for agreeing to move ahead on the surf club property and take advantage of the OBVTA's offer of mediation services. I think it's wonderful you're taking a step in that direction, and anything else we can do to support this, the talks moving forward, we will do. I also just want to point out that we're having pretty awful weather, and the beach is taking quite a beating. Because the fencing has changed on the boardwalk, it's not as bad as it was last year, but I think we're going to need some cleaning up over there because the steps are covered with sand, and the foot of the walkways are on the beach or have 2 feet of sand piled up from the tides bringing in all this sand. I know we're going to get a lot worse weather, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it's starting to get beaten up a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, you want to come up and say something?
I'm not sure if this is the right place or not, but it's Tom Jenkins, Polhemus Road in Tom's River. There's been an awful lot of rumors lately about the golf course and changes being made, okay? And I'd like to know if this is the right place to ask, or can we get a copy of the changes that are going to be made for January 1st?
The ordinance was just approved for first reading tonight, so we can get you a copy of the ordinance. I'll ask our clerk to give you a copy of it, and you can read the changes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Seeing none, move to executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Favor?
Aye.
Ken, would you unplug me, please? Unplug me. Thank you.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows, The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows: matters of personnel, matters of litigation, land acquisitions, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows: the executive session minutes review of November 26, 2019, personnel issues of the Township Clerk's Office and Administration, the review of status of all real property acquisitions, Lipschitz Hecht litigation, possible reorganization of rent leveling board, and legal options relating to such reorganization. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion to go into executive session made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick, with all in favor at 5:34 PM. Do I have a motion to go back into general session?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you.